Hello again. Now, this is another passage from my book, Swifter Than a Weaver's Shuttle. I read a passage earlier from chapter 1. I'm going to read another passage. This tells the story of when I was about 9 years old and I rode up on my bike from Leeds to York. One vivid memory I have was when I was 9 years old. Seems strange to think of it now, but when I walked to the top of Gledhouse Street in Armley, which is the street where my parents and I lived, where I lived with my parents, I believed I could see all the way to Morecambe. Amazing, as a child, how your mind works. With this in mind, I decided to cycle there on my Hercules bike. The funny thing is that I set off up York Road, which is actually in the opposite direction. It took me quite some time to get to York, but I stopped at a snack bar in a lay-by just outside York. I asked the man how much a cup of tea and a pork pie was, but it was more than I could afford. So I just got a cup of tea. A man came over and asked me if I wanted the pork pie, and I said yes, so he bought it for me. It turns out he was a lorry driver, and afterwards he just got in his lorry and drove off. How times have changed. Wouldn't dare do that anymore, would you? Approach a young boy to offer to buy him a pork pie. When I got to York, I decided it was too far to go to Morecambe, so I went to a garage and asked the owner if I could leave my bike there while I went for a look round York, to which he said yes. Off I went, walking round York, almost tempted to steal a wallet from a department store. I'm afraid I had quite a fetish for leather wallets at that age, but I was too scared, so I didn't. It was getting late, so I decided to return to the garage where I had left my bike, but I had forgotten where it was. I walked round and round for ages, coming back to that same bridge and saying to myself, no, I didn't cross this bridge, and walked away again, wandered round and came back to that bridge. Finally, I decided to cross the bridge, and there it was, and it was still open, was the garage, thankfully. It was 9 p.m. when I got home, and my mother and father had called the police and reported me missing. I was in trouble, but amazingly, I didn't know what all the fuss was about.